Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today we have a video courtesy of Savea in the Tier 9 Russian destroyer, the Tashkent. Now the Trashcan used to be a Tier 8, but with the Russian DD line realignment, it became a Tier 9, and the Tier 8 Tashkent is as far as I made it in the line. And I pretty much got to this ship and just hated it. And that's where its nickname, the Trashcan, comes from. It was a crappy ship to try to play through. I found it a little bit better now that it's at 9. The mild changes they made to move it to 9 have helped her out a bit. Now, Savea is playing alongside Goomba in the Musashi, almost said Yamato, just looking at the hull for a second, and Purefly sailing the American Tier 9 destroyer, the Fletcher. And the Fletcher, I love that ship. It's great, and, well, Savea did a bit of damage to Goomba, so Karma's got to even it out. He eats a bit of damage from the enemy. So why do you play the Fletcher? Well, the reason, or the Tashkent, well, the reason you play it is to get to the Khabarovsk, because anyone who has played at Tier 10 and had to deal with a cab who knows what they're doing and just sits there kiting all day, dodging seemingly everything that gets shot at them, knows how annoying that ship can be, particularly if you're in a battleship and have no cruiser support. Your reload really just doesn't allow you the opportunity to do a bunch of damage, so you just have to ignore it. But by ignoring it, damage starts stacking up, fire starts stacking up, and suddenly someone has done a huge chunk of damage to you. Well, looks like the shift bug is back and I cannot make it go away. So right now you have, looks like 3 battleships coming out this way and a gearing. Looking at the map over on the other side, 2 of the cruisers are over there, 1 of the radars, and that's actually big because the only other radar is in New Orleans. So once the New Orleans is spotted, you know where everything that can detect you is, and things are going to get good. Now this is a position that if I'm in an Akazuki, I do not want to find myself. 2 gunboat destroyers hot on your tail. Unfortunately, it winds up being Savea who eats most of the damage. And the reality to that is he got in too close. I know why he did it. He did it to support Pure. And it's not a bad play. Looks like one of the torpedoes just connected, so we should hopefully see the Akazuki die. There it goes, 1 ship down. You'll take the damage you ate. Now you'll notice one of the other things about the Tashkent, it runs a repair party, or has the option to, in place of smoke. And that can go a long way. And I can guarantee you Purefly wishes he had a repair party there to recover some of the health and not wind up dead. Unfortunately, he is a goner, which means now this division is down to 2. Things are still even though, other than the enemy team managing to take A, 1 DD, 1 cruiser aside lost. Savea throws a set of the torps into the water there, and, well, Yamato on fire. Let's see if you can add to that. And Savea is going to do a lot of damage to this Yamato over this game. And in general, so far he's at 8,000. It's early in, just over 4 minutes. There's plenty of opportunities to get your farm on and just help your team work ships down. And the gun range and just excellent arc of these Russian shells is part of what makes them so effective as just gunboats that kite. If you get into something like the Fletcher or the gearing and try to sit at the absolute edge of your gun range and hit a target that's actively maneuvering, it can be very hard. Like, you end up just spraying and hoping a bunch of your shells hit, because the loft on the shells and the flight time means they take so long to get there that you're at the point where you're not predicting. You're hoping for a bit of luck, or a ship that's just sailing in a perfectly straight line. And battleships can be similar. Like when you get into a Yami, with the spotter plane, absolute max range, and you're shooting, and you're reloaded pretty much the second your shells hit. That's how long they take to get there. And you can't predict what a ship's going to do 30 seconds from now. It's just not possible. So you have to pick and choose those targets that are being a little more passive. Well, in these Russian destroyers, you can pick and choose things that are maneuvering a little more, because the trajectory is great at 14 kilometers, less than 10-second flight time here. And, well, with the Yamato no longer burning, hopefully a lucky shell here will spell a fire. You can see Savea trying to aim at the Yamato's last known position, and there it is. The final volley gets the fire. Right away, I'd have to guess this Yami is running fire prevention, because that's a pretty big fire for just one. So I'm guessing those midship fires have combined, and, well, that's going to make it a little harder to light them up. But right now, Savea has really no reason not to continue to just try doing this. The enemy team has successfully pushed into C, and, you know, you'd like to get A here, but where's the support? Goomba, he's put himself in a pretty decent position back here. He's bow in, he's blocked by a lot of this land, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's able to go dark at times, and well, Savea's done pretty much the same thing, using this hunk of land here to keep himself concealed as he shoots. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is, well, they've sailed away. That really means Savea can't afford to creep into this cap, because, well, there's still a New Orleans out here, there's a minnow. The second he gets in there, you know that radar is going to be active and spotting him, so he's just got to sit and just try to help remove some ships right now. And this isn't the most exciting replay at this point, because, well, he's able to sit perfectly still. The enemy team isn't doing anything that is making him move. But you can be just as effective with an entire team shooting at you, on the move, speed boost active, rudder kicking back and forth. And, well, the Amage just put out a fire, so now you pretty much have to focus them. When you see a ship use damage control, that is a key moment for a team to start focusing down a target. To the point where, like in clan battles, the way our team does it, we don't call out who we lit on fire, we don't call out big damage. One of the things you call out to that caller is, hey, this guy just used his damage control, because it's now a very vulnerable ship to flooding and fire. The ships on your team that do those kind of things, well, they're going to want to get in on that action. One of the other nice things about these Russian destroyers is, because the flight time isn't so long, you can actually, you know, get some targets that would otherwise be untouchable, just because they don't have to be led as much. It can be frustrating in the Minotaur, actually, when you've got someone sailing and you don't have the loft to clear an island, and you have to lead them by so much that it just doesn't work. And, well, here we have the point in the game where Goomba is more than likely going to explode. I think he's hit the point where he recognizes they can't really afford to lose too many points. They have to contest a cap. And, well, he's doing his best, but with the number of ships all concentrated here, it's not going to go well. And that also sadly kind of opens up a hole for the enemy team. The second Goomba goes down here, they're going to be able to get into A and be pushing through it. Well, maybe. There is a Montana and Hindenburg out here. But there is our faithful Goomba dying as usual, so this replay is complete, and Savea is just stacking up damage. And there is the radar. You knew it had to be coming. Hopefully it's coordinated, but looking at that Missouri, he's not even looking this way, and it probably is the Missouri who is using that radar. Now, one thing I don't know is if Savea, I haven't been paying enough attention to notice if he has priority target. Because if he doesn't, he's being a little cheeky here. He's assuming that no one's aiming at him. There's the Wither reward as he is approaching 100,000 damage. And, well, things aren't great for his team, but they're not bad. They've got the kill lead, 2 kills. They've secured Charlie. There's just a Qckro over there. If they can get rid of that Qckro, that's going to go a long way. And, well, the Qckro isn't over there. It's actually in the middle of the map. So that's now going to allow this entire team at Charlie to start either kiting south, getting in behind, looking for flanking shots on all these ships, or kind of come right out the middle and work down this curve first, and hopefully Qckro. Sadly, the friendly Moskva died there, and, well, you really wish you still had that ship because it was the good radar. New Orleans is as far away as possible from using its radar, and, well, you're going to need it if you get rid of that Qckro. Because until that Qckro is dead, the enemy team has a big spotting advantage. And I think at this point it's kind of when Surveyor's like, okay, something needs to happen. We need to make a play. And I suspect the play he has decided on is B. He's heading that way. Fighting the Qckro really comes down to the DD's responsibility at this point. You need to get rid of that torpedo boat. The Shimakaze isn't the best to do it. I mean, the Tashkent definitely isn't the best to do it because the Qckro is going to out-detect him all day long. Plus side, if he's detected, why not get those guns working? And this curve first shoots at him, rudder comes over, eats 1 shell, but lives through it. And he does have priority target. So when Svea was sitting there, radar, being a little cheeky by not moving, he knew that no one was aiming at him. And it's odd when you have a destroyer radar that no one shoots at them. And I've noticed that a couple times. I had a game in my Moskva the other day where I radared 4 destroyers simultaneously, and other than my division mate, not a single person from our team shot at any of the DDs. That was incredibly frustrating. Now you can say Surveyor isn't doing anything crazy. It's just doing big S-turns, but it makes it hard to hit. And the speed of these destroyers is a big part of that. You know, being able to go over 40 knots, it makes you a more difficult target to touch. This is the reason some of the French cruisers can get away with just sailing in straight lines for a bit is, and I've noticed it, pop that speed boost, you're doing like 43-ish knots. Everyone leads you as if you're a cruiser that only does 30 knots. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people. So the first couple volleys end up 4, 5 ship lengths behind you. I feel really bad for this New Orleans right now, because he's about to become the focus of pretty much everything. He's out in the open, he's got battleships on both sides, and well, we've got enemy torpedoes coming in. And based on the direction, looks like the Qckro is probably somewhere up north of this New Orleans. So getting himself into a tricky position where maybe a friendly radar is going to be able to root him out. However, things need to happen. And the reason I say the New Orleans is the target you aim at, it's a soft cruiser. Now I'm not entirely sure on those torpedoes. I think they were just kind of luck chucks, edge of land, feeling maybe this Minotaur is coming, and well, there he is, and he is sailing this way. Sadly, those torpedoes a little bit too early for that, but yeah, who needs torpedoes when you have guns? And you can see him using that torpedo lead indicator to just kind of figure out, okay, what are these ships doing? As well, the Qckro gets spotted, and that ship's just dead. A Hindenburg that close, well, there's only one way it ends, and that's with the ship being dead. So they claw back another kill. They buy themselves a little bit more time as far as points go, but they still haven't managed to push into B because they're really not a team right now. You almost have a perfect circle around the enemies, which if that's the strategy would work great, but you need to head someone face on. Now looking at this Amagi, looking at this New Orleans, it looks like they're trying to figure out where the Shimakaze is, and that could prove an excellent distraction and buy them the time they need. Meanwhile, well, looks like the Montana's decided where he's going, so Savea's gonna escort him. And, well, a minnow is threatening. A Montana makes very short work of a Minotaur if he gets in close. So that's kind of the balancing factor, and really, Savea is going to be the thing that detects that Minotaur. He's going to give that early notice, and, well, there's the Minnow's Torps, so you can already start drawing a line as to where he might be, and, well, there he is. Just inside detection, so Savea is momentarily spotted, but it's not Savea the Minotaur needs to worry about. It's this Montana, and I think the Minotaur knows that because he's tucking as hard behind that island as he can. And Savea throws it into reverse here. I think he's hoping that this Montana is going to see the minnow and be able to just start providing gunfire. Failing that, he's got the range to hit this Yamato, and with no easy way to see exactly what heading the Yamato's going on, well, just kind of base yourself off the indicator, you know, draw a line down to where the water is, and then just fire. If you need to, ride your shells in. Great way to see what another ship is doing, and then just correct. But when ships drive around slow like this, and they do quite often, it should be pretty easy to focus in and hit a target that you can't necessarily see beyond land. And, well, the Yamato is doing, I think, a smart play. You know, throws the brakes on. Last thing you really want is this Montana to be able to get in and get a ram, because suddenly there is a lot less of the enemy team. The Amagi's gone, the Minotaur's gone, so there's a Yami and a New Orleans, and the New Orleans wants nothing to do with this fight. So for the first time in this game, Savea's team is about to establish cap dominance, and, well, just keeps the guns firing, keeps the fires lighting, and the damage just keeps building. One thing I would suggest is once you get that fire, obviously after the damage control, because that was a pretty quick damage control there, is swap to AP. The AP out of these guns can be very effective to broadside targets if you hit the superstructure of the ship where there's a little less armor. And, well, the Yamato, he's tired of being picked on, takes a shot, almost erases Savea, but he's got a repair party, he's going to be able to recover, and there's another fire. And that pretty much should almost guarantee that the Yamato dies. A few more volleys will seal his fate. And, well, it's just him left. So this one should be all but done. The Montana's plane doing a fine job helping Savea get the last of the kill. And with the win came 417,000 credits, 8,500 experience, 2,700 free XP, Arsonist, Wither, Dreadnought, 147,000 credits, and the 3 kills. And some people are going to say he was too passive, but there are times that you just need to be passive, to sit in the back and just put damage on it, and there's times to charge in and get your nose dirty and just really dig in. And really identifying the difference between the two is where people really improve. Myself, early on, destroyers, I was just charged in. I thought that was the job. But as I gained a bit more nuanced view of the game, I understood and learned that no, sometimes doing that is just throwing yourself away. So to all of you out there who just yell at DDs telling them to push in, you know, there might be a reason they're not doing that. Maybe they happen to know another destroyer's there, or can feel the pressure of a radar, and just they're not willing to throw themselves away for you. Be patient, give them time, they'll get in there. That's kind of how the game works. Anyways, end of the day, he took home 242,000 credits and that huge chunk of experience. I enjoyed watching this one. I hope you all did. The trash can, it's not so much garbage anymore. Anyways, if you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash, and I'll have another one for you all later.